Time to get the hate mail. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of The Guido Goes Off. This is part 2 of my fan poll shows. Last episode, I did what I liked that everyone else hated. This time, I'm doing... Now, I'm not going to target specific wrestlers, but it's gimmicks. You know, the basis of certain wrestlers that I don't care for, that everyone else seems to like. So without further ado, let's get started. First gimmick I'm going to tackle, part-timers. Now we all know that a lot of us get really antsy around WrestleMania because we're going to see The Undertaker again, because Undertaker's pretty much, one of the greatest superstars ever. It's hard to argue that point. However, there are now a lot more part-timers that it's getting to the point that it's getting irritating. Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, even now John Cena to a point. There are these guys that can just seem to come and go as they please and do whatever they want. And a lot of fans like these guys because of the nostalgia. Because these guys were popular when they were growing up. Most wrestling fans nowadays were more than likely became fans during the Attitude Era, when when it was, as wild and crazy as an era as it could possibly get, and these guys were popular, and now they're so cool because, hey, we get to share that piece of our childhood with our kids and that. And honestly, I just don't like it, because let's face facts. As awesome as it is to see Brock Lesnar, remember, this was a guy who held the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and didn't defend it for 5 months. He was literally gone, for most of the time that he was champion. And you have Vince, defending it the whole time, saying, well, the champion should be a special attraction, special attraction, however the hell he talks. Yes, championship matches should be something special. That's not the problem. But the problem is, at least the champion should be there. It's kind of hard to dangle the carrot when the carrot isn't there. You know what I mean? It's just talk of the carrot. It doesn't work like that. And so, but let's, moving on. Yes, and now you got Goldberg coming back, and we had that 1 minute and 26-second match. And to be honest, I feel that these part-timers, that they take away, and you don't get the chance to build up that current roster. It's basically telling every superstar you have in that locker room that they're not good enough, that they can't draw, even though you're literally never giving them the chance. You're not giving them the chance to build, to get people interested, not only in them, but that current product that so you just, go and get your part-timers, and you basically telling your current roster to screw off. And that's something I don't like it. I hate it. I really think it's just, it may be good for bottom line, but it doesn't help your talent. It doesn't help your talent at all. Okay, the next gimmick, celebrities. I know, like at WrestleMania and all that, it's that time of the year when sports and entertainment go hand in hand. and the celebrities are supposed to be there to just wave and say hi and do America the Beautiful. I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with is celebrities getting in the ring. 2 words: David Arquette. Let's not forget, David Arquette was a WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Granted, they were promoting Ready to Rumble, and WCW was pretty much all over but the shouting, but still. Now, and there's been, a multitude of celebrities. We've seen Maria Menounos get in the ring. We've seen Hugh Jackman knock out Zack. Was it Zack Ryder he knocked out? It was Dolph Ziggler. One of the two. I think it was Dolph Ziggler. And a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, let's go!" I'm like, now there is one interesting celebrity getting in there that I thought was actually good, and that was when SummerSlam 2015, when Stephen Amell wrestled. Because normally, if you look at it, normally the celebrity's just supposed to hop in there for a little bit, like every other celebrity did, and clean house and be awesome. If you notice, when Stephen Amell tagged with Neville, Stephen Amell took the lion's share of the beating. Stephen Amell took, basically what Neville should do as the wrestler, as a full-time wrestler. The wrestler usually takes being the celebrity. Kind of like the old saying as far as tag teams: one sets the table, one sits down to eat. Basically one takes the punishment, takes the beating, then the other one comes in, cleans house, gets the win. Stephen Amell set the table, and Neville sat down to eat, which was rather interesting, because usually, like I say, it's the other way around. Because these are celebrities, these are actors, they have no business being in a wrestling ring. It's, and sometimes, yes, it's wonderful, but a grand majority of the time, it's something else that takes away. I don't mind celebrity guest ring announcers or referees or timekeepers or backstage interviews. That works for me. But it's when celebrities get in the ring, especially ones that suck, like Kevin Federline. That doesn't work for me, and I don't like it. Well, next on the chopping, on the conversation, models. Models turned wrestlers. Yeah. Okay. As we all know, in the Monday Night War era, the Attitude Era, and well into the post-war era, Trish Stratus was one of the top acts in WWE, let alone at pretty much the top of the women's division. They were they're kind of starting that diva moniker, but I was have to realize these ladies had been put through their paces by Finlay. He was booking the division, and if you couldn't wrestle, you couldn't work for him. And Trish Stratus took this to heart, and let's face facts. Trish Stratus is still considered one of the best women in wrestling history. Well, let's just say it somehow got in Vince's head that if I can turn one fitness model into a wrestler, I can do it again and again and again. It always seems like there's these templates that Vince has for a superstar. And that template is someone who made him a shit ton of money. I'll get to some of the other ones in a bit, but obviously Trish Stratus is that template for the women. Because you had that era where all the women were basically models and dancers turned wrestlers. And the wrestling was not good. And, you could, and, they had to do those things like bra and panties matches and evening, all that. And lingerie pillow fights. Let's not forget how well that went over. What was it, at WrestleMania 23? Yeah, they had one between, was it Don Marie and either way. But as we all know, that match went over like a fart in church. So yeah, models turned wrestlers. Yes, this has been one I've had trouble with for quite some time. Because it brings up your Candice Michelle's, your Kelly Kelly's, your Christy Hemmings, Tori Wilson's, your Dawn Marie's. And that's the sad part. It's even permeated. It's even permeated still today. You have a lot of your fitness model. You have your fitness models. Turned wrestlers and are expected to be good. Like, slips my. Someone, kind of insignificant. Oh yeah, Alexa Bliss. Yeah, Alexa Bliss is one. Dana Brooks is another. And don't get me started on Eva Marie. yeah, she's a wrestler, right? Yeah, yeah, she's a wrestler. Walking around in that Varga robe, and their hair looks like it was dyed with her tampon blood. Yeah, she's a wrestler. And I'm a professional soccer player. I mean, the thing is, yes, it worked with Trish Stratus, but that was only because of Trish Stratus' dedication and commitment to making it work. Vince seems to think that he can get lightning in a bottle, and it doesn't always happen that way. And definitely not as far as women are concerned. I know there's a lot of great athletic female talent that Vince has hired, but that just doesn't seem to translate into wrestling, and that's why I have the problem with models and dancers turned wrestlers. Up next, one of my personal hit lists. Multi-generational wrestlers who build off of the previous legacy. This is basically someone who is a multi-generational wrestler whose dad and granddad, whose father, probably father and grandfather, all of them are wrestlers, and yet they just want to build, and yet they just want to live off that legacy and not forge their own trail. I've said this multiple times, probably tweeted it out several thousand times. For every one Rock, there are 1,000 Curtis Axels. And let me get, because I guess let me start with Curtis Axel. The son of Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. The grandson of Larry the Axe Hennig. He's about as charismatic as an action figure that I have up here. All he has is his legacy. He's, as far as his work rate and that, he's a passable wrestler, but let's face facts. One match, I think it was at a SummerSlam. Is it a SummerSlam? It was in Minneapolis. He was in his own hometown with Paul Heyman as his manager, with his grandfather, Larry the Axe Hennig, beside him at ringside, wearing a cardigan sweater with pockets stuffed full of Werther's Originals for the kids, and he couldn't get over. And that's the thing. It's and there's examples of other ones. I mean, I could I mean, good lord, Scott Putski, Brian Christopher, um, Charlotte. Let's face facts. Charlotte has every gift, physical gift, that could be bestowed upon a human being. She could cut promos. She's getting better at promos. She's getting to the point, and you have all these people lauding that she is the greatest woman of all time, but yet everything about her screams, "I am Ric Flair's daughter." She will never get out of Ric's shadow. She has to wear the robes. She now goes by Charlotte Flair. She's got the CF on her boots where Rick had RF. She uses the figure 4 as a finisher. You can do a pretty bridge all you want. It is still the figure 4. And that is my problem. Yes, The Rock was a third-generation superstar. One of the first in WWE history. This was prior to Chavo starting up. The Rock knew, because the crowd rejected Rocky Maivia, if I am going to be successful, I have to put my family's legacy aside and make something of myself. Be my own man and be something different. And that's what where The Rock came from, and The Rock just went to the freaking moon. Do you think he would be people's sexiest man alive if he was still Rocky Maivia? I've got the answer for you. No. You'd be probably eating at Rocky Maivia's Burger Barn. You wouldn't be watching him in movies, making the movies that make $1 billion worldwide. You wouldn't be seeing him, doing TV shows and all this. If he did not make that decision, I have to be my own person. My family's legacy isn't going to get me anywhere. That is why The Rock has made a crap ton of money and why the Usos have not. Why Roman Reigns has not. Why Charlotte forever will be shackled to the legacy of the Nature Boy, pretty much one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And that is what I don't get is you keep shackling yourselves to these legacies. It's going to be about the legacy and not you. And that's why I don't like a lot of multi-gen wrestlers. I mean, you look at some of these successful multi-gen wrestlers. They get away from that from their legacy. The Rock got away from his family's legacy. Eddie Guerrero was pretty much forging his own path. I think Paige got away with it because really nobody in this country knew who her family was. And there is some success, but you have to be your own person and not continually strap yourself to your family's legacy, because people are going to care more about them than they are about you, because you suck. And that's the only reason people attach themselves to these legacies, because they suck. And now the final gimmick that I hate. We're going to flat out say the hate. The Superman gimmick. Now this is a nickname that I've personally given to a group of wrestlers. Basically, they're overpowered as all get out, and yet they take this hellacious beating, and then they make this miraculous comeback. Every match, it's be awesome up to the bell ringing, then get beaten down, then make the big comeback. Lather, rinse, repeat. It's basically the same match over and over and over. Now this group of wrestlers, I think you guys kind of know who I'm going for in this. The likes of Hulk Hogan, the likes of John Cena, Goldberg also for a bit, Roman Reigns now. Basically, this bill that these guys are pretty much unstoppable, and then somehow they're getting hurt, pretty much like Superman. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I never cared for Superman. The reason why Superman, let me get this. I was, as a kid, I was trying to figure this out. Superman had every power in the freaking book. Some were created just to solve a plot device. I mean, yeah, he always had his basics. Super strength, flight, heat vision, X-ray vision, ice breath, all that, and then you can make a bunch of ones. So he can wipe out a solar system with a sneeze. He can talk to mermaids. He can literally do anything he wanted. And yet somehow there's always some enemy that is kicking his ass for the better part of 2 or 3 issues, and then he makes this big comeback. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not blind to the fact that professional wrestling is basically a live-action comic book. Let's face the facts in this. Professional wrestling is a live-action comic book. More than likely. You like this guy? You like this guy. Or someone like him. Because I'm not going to lie. Most, what I notice is most professional wrestling fans also like comic books. Also like superhero movies. Also like things of that nature. Because it's vicarious living. Because we have all these issues in our lives that we can't seem to overcome. So we live vicariously. Excuse me. Through superheroes. And through wrestlers. But as you all know, I believe in originality. You gotta have a Batman. You gotta have a Wonder Woman. You gotta have I'm trying to think of others. You gotta have your Ghost Riders, your Punishers, your Optimus Primes, your Voltrons. Because this shows have the same problem with Voltron. Giant robot getting its ass kicked by this robot, and then oh yeah, we got this blazing sword. It's kind of like watching Hulk, because every Hulk Hogan match, you see him getting beaten down by guys, and usually it's also by guys not quite as big as him. Like Piper had his number all the time, and Piper's like what, half the size of Hogan? How is he ever to how is it believable for him to beat down Hulk Hogan like that? That's what I don't get. And like I said, the same thing is, it's another mold. It's another template. Vince thinks I can plug this guy into this gimmick, and that's the thing. Most gimmicks in WWE are created before the wrestlers even hired. Like for example, Mankind. The Mankind gimmick was created long before Mick Foley was hired by WWE. The Undertaker gimmick was created before Mark Calloway was hired by WWE. And that's, while it works sometimes, a lot of the time it doesn't. It's that perfect marriage of wrestler and gimmick that has to work. And that wrestler can make it work. With perhaps even the worst possible gimmick you could possibly think of. And that's the thing, though. But in those two cases, those were things that were original, that were special. It was lightning striking in that instance. You can't replicate something like that. But Vince constantly tries. Because every time he sees a guy like John Cena, or a guy like The Rock, or a guy like, Roman Reigns was the perfect storm of everything. He sees Hulk Hogan, and he sees money, and you constantly and the thing. But then again, Hogan was Hogan was 50% media creation, but he had charisma. He had that way of connecting with the audience. Cena did too. The Rock, Cena does too. The Rock does too. I think Roman Reigns is trying, and there's a lot of wrestlers that love working with him. I think he's a great worker, and I remember Finn Balor confused when the people chanted "You can't wrestle," but he thought, "Man, this guy can wrestle pretty well." And that's the thing. It was simply Vince shoving it down our throats. You're going to like this guy. But living in the day and age we do now, where fans know infinitely more about the business than they did even 15 years ago. Definitely more than we did 30 years ago. In the days of Hogan and Savage and all that. We don't like getting stuff shoved down our throats. We're going to be like that toddler in the high chair. We're going to push it away if we don't like it. If it's not right for us, if it doesn't first it tastes good. And that's the thing though, you keep trying to reinvent Superman. You keep trying to reinvent Hulk Hogan. Hogan was lightning in a bottle. Or Hogan was lightning striking. The Rock was lightning striking. Cena was lightning striking. And yes, he was polarized, but he still draws. You're either going to pay to see him beat someone, or you're going to pay to see someone beat him. And that's what makes Cena work, and that's lightning. The Undertaker, lightning. Mankind, lightning. Trish Stratus, lightning. You keep trying to reinvent something when you have to when you're trying to understand that you have the in these certain gimmicks, in these certain examples of wrestlers, the perfect storm of timing, of willpower, of talent, and just simply it. The ultimate intangible in professional wrestling. It's either you have it or you don't. It's dirt simple. You cannot manufacture it. I was watching Tough Enough and ZZ, and they were talking with ZZ, and I remember Hogan saying, he's got it. We can work. We can fix everything else. But it's that either you have it or you don't. And yes, unfortunately with ZZ, he was just freaking lazy. It's unfortunate. It just seemed like a waste. Because like I said, you either have it or you don't. If you can just connect with the people, reach out via your television screen and feel that. It can't be manufactured. It can't be mass-produced. Vince doesn't have a spare jar of it in his office, able to inject it into wrestlers to get them over. And yeah, I'm digressing from my main point on this, but I think that's the main point. We all like different wrestlers for our different reasons. It's because we connect with them. There are fans who Roman Reigns connects with. There are fans who Kevin Owens connects with. Fans Cesaro connects with. Fans Charlotte connects with. Fans Sasha Banks connects with. Becky Lynch, Paige, Alexa, the Bellas, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins. And that's what makes something great, wrestling great, is because there's something for everyone. You don't need a one-size-fits-all gimmick. You just need something that people can connect with. Something people see in themselves in. And that's what makes it special. And that's what I like. In wrestling, there's something for everyone. You have a smorgasbord of the world. You can pick what you want. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of The Guido Goes Off. Thank you for voting on this fan poll. I probably will do another one at some point. I don't know exactly when. But tell me what you think. What are some of the things in wrestling you can't stand? What are the things in wrestling that make you just want to grab that remote and turn it off? Let me know in the comments section below. And of course, you can always reach me via my social media. And while you're watching this, please like this video, share it with your friends, and of course, please subscribe. It really helps us out. Until next time, I'm the Guido, and I think we're done here.